Hi everyone, Adolfo talking. Here is Fostering Lingua. So hello, welcome back. Hello everyone, welcome. So this of course is a topic of the intermediate English, and today we will be seeing a new story, the beginning of a new story, which is the story of Robin Hood. So you probably know a little bit about him, right? Robin Hood was this guy who lives in the forest and steals from the rich to give to the poor. That's why we know more about the story of Robin Hood. So let's just jump on the story, read it, practice the pronunciation, and if we have different words, we're gonna put them here and talk about them. Alright, so let's go. Robin Hood. Here's a summary and the introduction. Lord Ganwell followed the man to the middle of Sherwood Forest. There, in the spring sunshine, he saw his daughter. He also saw a baby boy in her arms. Joanna looked up at her father and smiled. "This is Robin, your grandson," she said. Robin Hood was born in the forest, and the forest was his home for much of his life. His story is hundreds of years old. At that time, in England, many Saxon people lived in small villages on the lands of important Norman lords from Normandy, now in France. Other people lived in church lands. Life was hard for these villagers because they had to give money and food to their lord and to the church. So yes, here we're talking a little bit about this concept, of course, of taxes and giving up, right? So the church, of course, is a place, and here we have the lord. It's the owner of a place. Of course, we're talking about the landlord. It's a common word today, nowadays, in English, to say a house owner, a landlord. Normally the one from who we rent a house. Alright, so a funny word here too is the word tax and the word fee, which is payments that you do to someone. A tax normally is used for the government, and a fee is a general tax payment that you have to give. Anyway, continue on. So, village people love to hear stories about Robin Hood. Robin Hood was clever, strong, and brave. So this word here, clever, for sure for Brazilians that will be a little bit different, because clever is the same thing as smart. And here we use the word intelligent to say the same idea, intelligent. It's not a common word to say intelligent in English. Normally they will say, of course, clever or smart. Continue on. Brave, of course, let's talk about brave. Brave is someone who is courageous. It is a brave person. Okay. He loved adventure, and he was the best fighter in England. He took money from rich people and gave it to poor villagers. The most famous Robin Hood stories are in this book. They are about a beautiful lady, Marian, the greedy sheriff of Nottingham, good King Richard, and his bad brother, Prince John. Many countries have stories about brave and clever adventurers. But it is Robin Hood only a story? Perhaps. Remembering that the word perhaps is a very funny, fancy way to say the word maybe. Perhaps. Robin really did live, and perhaps not. There was a King Richard. He was king from 1189 to 1199. He left England and fought in Jerusalem. When he was away, Prince John was the most important man in England. Then, when Richard died, John was the next king. The stories say that Robin Hood lived with his men in Sherwood Forest, near the town of Nottingham. Sherwood Forest and Nottingham are about 200 kilometers north of London. Many people there say that Robin Hood really lived in the forest. Amazing. Here is gonna be the chapter 1 of this book. But anyway, this that we have today was a very good start in learning some words in the vocabulary in the English language. Okay, just a little bit of the chapter 1 then. Chapter 1. Robin Fitzooth is born in Sherwood Forest. The Robin Hood stories are very famous. Most people know that Robin lived in Saxon and Norman times. He robbed rich people and gave the money to poor people. But not everybody knows that he came from a rich family. And not many people know that Robin Hood was half Saxon and half Norman. The story begins with Robin Hood Saxon's grandfather, Sir George Ganwell. Ganwell lived near a Norman lord. This lord wanted to take Ganwell's house and his lands. The two men fought, and the Norman lord killed Ganwell's 2 sons. Ganwell's wife also died. But Sir George also had a young daughter, Joanna. "I have no sons," Ganwell said to Joanna, "so I will teach you to fight with a sword, with a bow and an arrow." With a bow and an arrow. 5 years later, Joanna was 19 years old and very beautiful. One day, a young man visited Sir George. His name was William Fitzooth, and he was a Norman. "Sir George," he began, "I love your daughter. I hope that she loves me. I would like to marry her." Of course, marry is a word very old in English. You can also use the word wed. Wed is also a verb, same thing as saying marry. And a wedding or a marriage are the names of the things you do. A wedding and a marriage. Okay, came from the 2 verbs wed and marry. Alright, he wants to marry her. What he says, "I have money and land." But Sir George was very angry. "Never," he answered. "My daughter will never marry you. Get off my land. Get off. Go away. Do not come here again or I will kill you." Oh my God. Look at that guy. Joanna loved this young man. So she tried to talk to her father, but he didn't want to listen. "Sir Lord," Lady important men had the word Sir and Lord before their names. Sir, Lord, Lady. Important woman had the word Lady. Of course, we're talking about very old time in this language and the English culture. Alright guys, so I think that will be it for today. Thank you a lot, and we'll see each other in another day with another book. Alright, see ya, goodbye.